Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, we discuss all things culture and politics, and today we are reacting to woke TikToks. So before we get into the videos, if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave any thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into this sheer misery. So I just have open the Libs of TikTok Twitter page, and I'm just going to go through and just react to these. So let's see what we come up with first.
I think the really crappy thing about having a period every month is that, like, I have to experience all of this pain, all this discomfort, and I don't even get the joy or the ability to bear children. Like, such horseshit.
Honestly, I don't feel bad for you because you chose this. As females, we have to deal with a period no matter what every month for our whole lives. So what, I'm supposed to feel bad for you? Like, we don't get a choice in periods. We just have to suffer through them. Okay? You don't have to suffer through them. You don't have to, actually. You chose to, and that's the difference. Also, those aren't period cramps, okay? Like, you're just having cramps. I don't know. You're just getting stomach cramps. It's not the same thing. Okay. Like, even if I wanted to be trans, right, I would still get period cramps because I'm a female and I don't have a choice in the matter, no matter what I want to do to my body. So honestly, cry me a river. And next.
This person was asking if there is any time in which intentional weight loss is not fatphobic.
Oh.
I'm going to say 99.9% of the times, if you are intentionally losing weight, it is fatphobic. I'm leaving that 0.01% in case I am truly wrong, but I don't think I am. And here's the reason why.
What's the reason, girl? Tell me, give it to me.
And happen to lose weight, that is fatphobic. I'm not saying if you start a medication and you happen to lose weight, that is fatphobic. I am not saying that if you're going through any type of, illness and that is altering your body in some way, that is fatphobic.
So if you're super obese, right, and your health is at risk and your doctor tells you you need to lose weight to basically live, so you go to the gym and work out to lose the weight, you're fatphobic, okay? The news is in, okay? This girl's made up statistic just told us that if you were on your deathbed because you're overweight, and you want to lose the weight because you don't want to die, you're fatphobic. So you're gonna have to live with that forever. This whole fat phobia thing is like the dumbest thing that has come out of wokeism. I think we can all agree on that. Like, I feel like even like liberals are like, nah. It's just so stupid. Here's the thing. The whole body positivity movement, it started out with like such a good message. I am not the thinnest girl. I'm not fat, but I'm not like the thinnest girl, right? I have a little bit of curves on me, and it's kind of just the way my body is. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I eat pretty healthy, and I am the weight that I am. And it is what it is. And that's what body positivity was for. It was for people like me or people who are even a little bit more heavy to just be like, you know what, it's okay that you're not a freaking stick or a model, or you're not a Kardashian with, ridiculous proportions, like dream proportions that we could just never attain without tons of money or whatever. What the body positivity movement has turned into is just, honestly, dude, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what's going on. It's your choice to stay fat. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry if you're overweight, like, there's things that you could do to not be. So stop acting like it's this handicap that, you were just born with. Okay. Most people are not born that heavy. Hello. We live in America with the most disgusting food on the planet. Like, horrible. We have horrible things. We have horrible shit in our food. I've been all over the world and food does not taste like it does here. For better or for worse, it's because they don't pump all of their food over there with these synthetic chemicals and hormones and all sorts of BS. So I don't know, lady. Honestly, like, if taking care of myself so that I look good and feel good and I can operate, at 100% is fatphobic, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess I'm fatphobic. Do these liberals really think that these labels like mean anything anymore? Like, oh, I'm fatphobic. Like, oh no, God forbid. Like, I don't care if I'm fatphobic. You know, you've made all of these labels like racist or homophobic or fatphobic, whatever you want to call it. You've made all of these labels and these words meaningless anyways. So I don't know. I don't care. I'm just so done at this point. All right. Let's see what we got next.
I don't trust white people. I don't trust white people for a multitude of reasons, but one of the main reasons is they're unpredictable.
I don't trust white people either. Next.
Hi, I'm Cody. I primarily go by E, M, or Z on pronouns, but I'm comfortable being referred to using any neo-pronouns that are not Z here. And a little bit about who I am. I am a white, transmasculine, femme, non-binary, disabled, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill, Unitarian Universalist, raised Jewish, non-monogamous, demi-low romantic, gray demi-bisexual, survivor of acute and complex trauma, millennial, and cat parent in mental health.
Okay, sweetheart, I don't care. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't care. I don't care. Here's my thing with pronouns. I and a lot of conservatives are not going to like this, but you know what? I'm a libertarian before I'm a conservative, okay? I am going to make a video with a list of like point by point, like my feelings on every issue because like I'm not a typical conservative. I would consider myself a libertarian first. So with that being said, I will probably call you the pronouns that you asked me to call you just out of like human respect. But if I do that for you, then you have to be okay with the fact that I think they're stupid. Okay, I think your pronouns are dumb. I think that for the most part, I feel like white people just use pronouns to get themselves onto the oppression totem pole, right? Like they can't stand the fact that they aren't oppressed because that means they won't be valued in society because that's what liberalism has conditioned these people to believe. And so in an effort to get into the oppression Olympics hierarchy, they just slap on the they them pronoun and call it a day. See, now I'm oppressed. Sweetheart, the only one who's oppressing you is yourself. Point being, yeah, I'll call you what you want, but just know that I think it's stupid and I think it's dumb, okay?
The thing that gets me about the anti-trans conservative rhetoric around like puberty blockers for trans kids is that if they really did care about making sure children weren't being mutilated or weren't being like coerced, they would be the #1 advocates for puberty blockers, not only because they're empirically supported and because they were developed for cisgender people, but because they would realize that forcing somebody to go through a puberty with a dominant hormone that is misaligned with your actual gender, that would be, by their terms, mutilation. Because imagine if we sat a bunch of 13-year-old cisgender boys around and we were like, hey boys, we know that you're boys, and we know that you've been boys as long as you've been alive, and it's very clear to us that you are boys, but we just want to be so sure, so we're actually going to make you go through estrogen-based puberty instead, so that way, like, when you get to the end of that road and you're 18, you can decide if you still wanted to be that boy that you know, always showed signs that you were. Can you imagine if we did that? That would be fucked up. But that's literally what you are doing to trans kids. Because forcing somebody to go through a puberty with a dominant hormone that is misaligned with your actual gender is a forced mutilation by conservative standards. So you would think that they would be the #1 advocates for blockers and go, oh my gosh, yeah, why don't we like put a pause on this? So that way you can decide and like in a couple years see how you feel. Like, I just wish they would shut up.
Okay. The amount of mental gymnastics that required to make that point was absurd. Just okay. So come here. Puberty blockers were actually created to chemically castrate sex offenders in prison. So yes, you're technically right. They were created for cisgender people, but they were literally created to chemically castrate them, right? So everything else that you said kind of just goes out the window when you take that into mind. I'm so sick of this idea that puberty blockers are reversible. These medical institutions are so evil because they have people convinced that these drugs don't have permanent effects and that they are reversible when there is more proof that suggests otherwise. But because you have these, you know, big universities or big name medical researchers saying that they're okay, people throw all the other research and evidence out the window. And it's honestly just so sad because, I mean, we're already seeing people come out talking about the devastating effects that these drugs have had on them, but I don't know. It's going to be a mess in 10 years. It really is. I mean, we've already had the UK publish a study saying that, you know, most teenagers who identify as trans outgrow it. And this was an official study published by the British government. Most of European countries are now drawing back on all of their gender affirming care practices because they're seeing that they don't work and they're dangerous. But liberals just cannot ever admit when they're wrong. Now children are suffering, and that's really sad. Next.
Trans people in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans allies in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans women, if they lock you up for identifying as a woman, fight, resist. You're gonna die anyways. We're going to die anyways. It's time to fucking resist. Fight them. Hurt them. If they put their hands on you, beat them. We are at an attack. It's time to fight back. Do you hear me? Trans people in Tennessee, trans men, trans women, non-binary, fight! If they try to arrest you or have you arrested on a felony for existing...
So this is really concerning for like a number of reasons. The first, and this is the thing that always gets me, is it's the way that trans people actually think that they are being threatened. Trans people are literally the most catered to group of people in this country, and I have no idea where this thought of violence is stemming from. Like, you guys are not being attacked or genocided. Like, calm down. It's just not happening. Like, I feel bad that their ideology has brainwashed them so much so that they actually think this. That has to be a really horrible headspace to be living in, and it's just not the case. Secondly, I'm just so sick of people on our side being the ones that are called violent. These people are the most violent people in this freaking country. They are so violent. She's literally telling her colleagues to beat us, kill us. I can't believe this upside down world we live in sometimes. We're the violent ones. This person is literally calling for her fellow LGBTQ whatever people to beat our asses, but we're the violent ones. It's just insane. I don't know how to describe it any other way than we are literally an upside down world. It's disturbing. And again, I honestly feel bad for these people. They literally think that their lives are being threatened. Like, where, girl? Where's your life being threatened? What? Because we don't want you to literally hurt children. Like, your life is now being threatened. I feel like trans people benefit from more protections and accommodations than like anyone else in this country at this point. If you don't agree with that, you're effing lying, and you know it.
Being trans is so fucking hard and so fucking exhausting. Like, I have been misgendered all fucking day. Every single interaction, conversation, everything. Just misgendered from the beginning of the day to now. I'm just fucking sick of it. I'm sick of correcting people who won't listen. I'm sick of people not seeing me. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And then I'm like, oh well, if I went on T, this would never happen. But I don't want to fucking go on T. I just want people to believe that trans people exist. And to look at me and think for a split second, like, oh, maybe they don't want to fucking be called a lady. Maybe that's...
I honestly feel really bad for this person because here's the thing. While the incorrect pronoun usage is the catalyst for this episode that they're going through, I think what is actually upsetting them is how overwhelming this ideology is for them to experience. I think that this ideology like destroys people from the inside out, and I would imagine that is extremely overwhelming experience. And I think more than the wrong pronouns being said is upsetting. I think it's just the entire ideology as a whole, because it just falls apart in front of their face like every day. Like, they're constantly reminded that this ideology is exactly that, and that they've been indoctrinated into it. I think it's the accepting that like everything they thought they knew was falling apart all around them at every turn. Their ideology gets proved just wrong and incoherent, that it actually does have a real like effect on these people, aside from the physical mutilation that occurs. If you really were that sure of your gender and that you are, you know, the opposite gender of what you were born as, You really shouldn't need external validation to convince you of that. Additionally, you know, I've heard from a lot of trans people, like actual trans people, that the pronoun thing, it's kind of like a sore spot for them because it's a social gauger, right? Like if they're actually progressing into their transition, the correct pronouns naturally get used more, and it's a good indicator for them of like if they're passing well or not. And this whole like idea, like this person said at the end, I just wish people knew that trans people existed. It's like, well, trust me, sweetheart, we all know that. It's shoved in our faces every day. It's more just that it takes work to pass, and you can't just expect people to read your mind and know that you want to be the opposite gender. And the saddest part is, I don't even think this person really is trans. I don't think most of these people are trans. I think they just get swept up into this ideology, and this is the effect it has on them. It destroys them for no reason. You know, this outburst of emotion, it's not actually because they're feeling the pain of being misgendered because they're trans. It's just because all of it is so overwhelming, and they're told that all of these things are supposed to happen. They have to believe this, and if people don't do A or B, then that should upset you. And it's like, I think it's just a lot for them to keep straight. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it's just, it's really sad how corrosive this mind virus really is. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed reacting to some woke TikToks, we can always do more of these. Just let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, follow my TikTok. I put it in the description down below. I post a lot of lifestyle content there and other random tidbits, so make sure you're following along with me, and I will see you in another video soon. Peace.